You're watching Your View.
Thank you for joining us. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, everybody, it's Kaplan and Crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, along with Grande and the Brown Man. It is a Wednesday afternoon, and I got to say, fellas, just to jump right in, what happened yesterday, I don't know if you guys liked it or you didn't like it. I personally loved it. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So here we are now. It's, after 3, but 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You've got an NFL football game, actually 2, but I don't know about you guys. I only watched the Rams and the Seahawks game.
I was keeping tabs on the other one.
You were?
Well, only because I have a little glimmer of hope the Vikings still make the playoffs. They're currently the 7th seed, and if the Eagles beat the football team, they would have stayed there. If the football team would have won, they would have been the 7th seed. So let's keep an eye on it.
Okay, got it. So Rams football game, middle of the afternoon, like I said, 4 o'clock. Then by 4:30, San Diego State kicked off the Frisco Bowl against University of Texas San Antonio. And I guess I never really looked into the Frisco Bowl. I just thought maybe was that game? Where was that game, Alex? Do you know where that game was played?
Frisco, Texas.
Okay, that's what I thought. Now, I also thought that was like where the Dallas Cowboys had their practice facility, but I think that stadium, that's an outdoor. I think they played. Listen, I honestly yesterday, I was watching yesterday. I'm like, where are they? I thought this was Frisco, Texas. I don't know. It caught me off guard. I never really did any homework or research into what the Frisco Bowl was. I just made an assumption it was outside of Dallas.
Well, yes, the Frisco Bowl, they played at the Toyota Stadium, which is the stadium of FC Dallas, the MLS team. And also where the FCS championship is played yearly since 2010.
Now, that's the only thing I know about that little stadium is that's where they play the Division I AA. Now they call it FCS National Championship game. Okay, so I went from Rams into Aztecs, and then when it hit halftime of the Aztec game, I was kind of all in on the Rams game. And then when both of these games were over, then I jumped in to the Lakers and the Suns. So I'm just curious. That was my day of viewing yesterday. While we're on the air, TVs are on and everything. What'd you guys do?
What did I tune into?
Yeah.
San Diego State. I ended up watching that just because it was so enjoyable. I don't know where that offense was all year, but it was nice to see yesterday. I don't know if it's because San Antonio, most of their guys weren't playing because they're going to the draft, but yeah, dude, I don't know what the hell got into Lucas Johnson, but that was nice last night. You had a 100-yard rusher, 150-yard, I think 175-yard receiver. Lucas threw for 300 yards. I was like, what the hell? Where was this all year? Yeah, really. So I actually was very surprised, and I tuned in. I stayed there, man. I stayed watching it.
And did you wind up later on going to the Laker game at 7 o'clock?
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to podcast last night, so I think if the Lakers were full strength, it's still the Suns win easy. But they're in shambles right now. That's the word I've been using, shambles.
Okay, Browner, how about you? Did you see NFL? Did you see San Diego State? Did you see Lakers later on last time? I'm just curious what the three of us all watched in terms of sports, because it was a Tuesday afternoon, and we're not accustomed to having NFL football on Tuesday afternoon.
I didn't view a single second of the Aztecs game. I watched the entirety of the Seahawks game. I was thoroughly displeased, as I said before. And then I went to the Lakers game, and I was thoroughly pleased by what I saw from the Suns. I don't know what everyone's like shocked by. The Lakers have a poorly built roster. I really don't see why people are puzzled by why they're being beaten the way that they are. Now, the question I would throw out there is if they got into a 7-game series against the Suns with a healthy Anthony Davis, I think the outcome would be vastly different.
Really?
I don't think so.
Ooh, yes. I think that the Lakers. Listen, I'm gonna get basketball-y the way Browner does. The Lakers have no idea how to guard a pick and roll, and DeAndre Ayton's going to shoot 95 to 100% against them every single game and destroy them like he did yesterday. Anthony Davis doesn't make a difference there.
The difference, and this is where I would disagree with you. In a playoff series, he will play center. LeBron will play power forward, and so their pick and roll matchup will be eliminated.
I have a question. If they're going to do that in the playoffs, why don't they do that during the regular season? Why would we assume
it's hard? Too hard. It's too hard.
AD's hurt.
It's too hard.
But if AD were fully healthy right now, how different was that game last night? See, I don't think it's that different at all because when they have a fully healthy AD, look at how poorly they've played. And I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying when they've got AD, LeBron, and Russ, I mean they're just barely getting by Dallas, who doesn't have Luka. It takes a miracle 3-point shot at the end of the game to beat a team like Dallas. I mean, I don't understand why we should all think that get to a 7-game series and they're a different team.
They're built for series.
Right, exactly. They're not built for what we're seeing. The regular season grind is for young players and guys reaching their prime. This is where they dominate. What the Lakers have is a team that if you get into a 7-game series with them, they have enough basketball knowledge that they can figure you out defensively and suck it up. Like what they don't want to do this.
I just don't understand why I'm not seeing that now.
I think because
they're old.
I mean, how can you see it now when we don't even know what they are? Because it took a month for Russ to integrate himself.
Yep.
Then true. LeBron was out for a month.
Yeah.
Now they got the COVID stuff. Now they got Anthony Davis out for a month. Like it's impossible that when a whole new roster, it was gonna take time for them to figure it out, and they haven't had the chance to figure it out. Now I'm not telling you that they're gonna come in. I'm not telling you that. I kind of disagree with Bronner when saying vastly different. I think they're competitive, but I still assume at the end of the Western playoffs, you're looking at Suns Warriors. I just think they have the two best teams.
Let me pose a question to the two of you. When the playoffs started last year and the Suns were playing the Lakers in the first round, what was the question people were asking about the Suns? How can they match up with AD? Who they have to guard AD? He got hurt. And then and LeBron was already ginger, and they just railroaded them out. If you get, and this is a big if you get there healthy, get there healthy and you play the Suns, it's a huge question. That's the biggest question mark of all is if they are healthy.
You can't assume it with the Lakers. Like you actually
last night, how about LeBron? When you thought LeBron got hurt, when LeBron came down on Crowder's foot and he was down on the ground, and you're like, okay, so AD's already hurt. Now here's LeBron. And then, of course, he wasn't really as hurt as he made it seem to be.
I said on the podcast last night, people are assuming when the Lakers get healthy. Stop assuming that. Assume that there's always going to be somebody missing. That's the safest way to go if you're a Laker fan, because that's just the way it's going to be. I mean, someone's going to be hurt all the time. I'm not telling you like for the season, but during the regular season, someone's going to be out for sure. And then they play like idiots too. Like yesterday, Carmelo Anthony getting that second tech is completely unexcusable. That was the most annoying part of the game. Like on a game when you're already shorthanded and you already have a tech, you're still like moaning and complaining about a small no call. Like you got to be smarter. You're the oldest guy on the team, dude. You're the oldest guy on the team. Like be smarter. It's just so stupid. Like they're such divas sometimes because of their names that they forget that they're not that good. Like they really need to put their egos aside and play hard every single night in order for them to win.
I just think the assumption that they're going to have their entire roster available during the playoffs, and because of who they have, and because of what you guys say they're built for a 7-game series, that all of a sudden the playoffs are going to come. And again, assuming everybody's in uniform and everybody's healthy, hey, we're built for this. So let's go play this style. But we didn't play that all year long. We barely all played together. And now we're supposed to beat a team like Golden State or Phoenix. I realize we're not even at Christmas yet, and we're not at the halfway point of the season, but what I've seen so far, I don't think this Laker team is anywhere near a championship team.
That's exactly what happened. I
don't think they could be Golden State. I think they could beat Phoenix because the matchups are different. The Suns are driven by Chris Paul and the offensive rebounding of DeAndre Ayton, the defensive protection of DeAndre Ayton. I think that the Lakers are a better matchup for the Suns than they are the Warriors, because the Warriors are more driven by perimeter shooting, and the Lakers don't have the legs to run around with that at all at any point in time of the year.
All right, here play LeBron after the game, though, and then we'll move on, because I said I want to try and get in all three big stories here. I wanted to get in the Rams, I want to get in the Aztecs, and I want to get in the Lakers. But since we're talking about this, play what LeBron said after the game. I think he's right, but I think that also we're not going to ever see them at full strength. And even if they were at full strength, based on what I've seen so far this season, when they have been considered full strength, I'm just not impressed at all. Here, play it.
I'll give you honest. I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. We have not. You don't know. We have no idea what this team can be of. And when you have, Trev, who was just his second game back. No K Nunn. I missed, a bunch of games. Now AD's out, and a bunch of guys in protocol or head coaches out. So how can we really fully assess what we have, when we haven't been whole? I can't remember the last time, we, played the same starting lineup and had the same rotation coming off the bench. It's been a long time. So it's hard to assess that.
I agree. It is hard to assess it.
He's funny. The coach is out. Brian, you're answering questions right now. What do you mean the coach is out?
Yeah,
Stop
really.
it.
Yeah. I mean, the babysitter's out, maybe.
Right.
All right. Hold on. Let's go from this to the Rams, because these are the three big stories, at least that we were all following yesterday. Let's talk about the Rams here in 1 second. Before I do, I want to remind everybody yet again about iThrive MD. Now, I've talked about this, that if you have an appointment with iThrive MD before Christmas, you can save 50% on your first months of treatment when it comes to testosterone. Okay, so guys, if you're feeling slow, tired, sluggish, you have no energy in the bedroom, maybe you're experiencing a little bit of depression, you're not sleeping well, all of these could be signs of low testosterone. But the other thing I've been talking about related to iThrive MD recently is this. With everything that's going on out there in the world and everybody that's all of a sudden coming down with something, here's my goal. Not only am I double vaxxed, and not only am I getting the booster shot later on today, okay, but besides that, I want to try and keep my body as healthy as I possibly can keep it. And Dr. Damani was on the show last week, and he brought up the idea of IV therapy. So NAD, I want to get an NAD drip because that's just about energy. The second thing I want to do is I want to get a vitamin C drip because I want as much vitamin C in my body as I can get. And then I want B12 as well. And I'm just telling you what I want. But when I go to iThrive MD, which I'm going early next week, I've been trying to get in there and a lot of crazy stuff's been going on. But the point is, I want to take this body right here, this shell, I want to create a force field. I want to keep all infection. I know some people have had the flu. I know some people have had just a regular common cold. And I know a whole lot of people that are double vaxxed and boosted and still are getting COVID and experiencing real symptoms. So this thing right here, what you're looking at, what you're hearing, I'm trying to keep this a force field. So I'm going into iThrive MD. I think my appointment is on Monday, and I'm going in to get a whole bunch of IV therapy. Help me become as healthy as I possibly can be and keep away all the infection. 858-240-1497, 858-240-1497. And guys, if you're looking for a really great holiday gift for your wife or your lady, think about an iThrive MD gift card. Because if your lady would like a little Botox shot over here or some aesthetic services of some kind, get that iThrive MD gift card. iThriveMD.com/Kaplan. All right, from the Lakers to the Rams. How impressed was everybody with the Rams? Or let me rephrase it. How impressed are you with the Rams now that they've won 3 straight games? Jacksonville was a preseason tune-up. Arizona was a great win, although it doesn't look quite as good a week later because Arizona winds up getting beaten badly by Detroit, but nonetheless, it's a win in the division on the road. And then yesterday, to have Seattle at your place and beat them, I would say pretty soundly, although there was a controversial no call late in the game. But all in all, when you look at the Rams and you think about the Packers or the Cowboys or the Cardinals, or you just think about where they stand in the world of the playoffs, what do you think about the Rams? And by the way, where is any talk at all, just a little bit of chatter, for Cooper Kupp as possible MVP of the league? No, because of the stats. Why not? Why should Cooper Kupp not at least gain some consideration given the season that he is having? Why should he not get any?
Cooper Kupp is a sole product of that offense. And if that's what you want to do, cool. But the Colts running back is a far more, if we're talking about somebody who should be getting talk, the Colts running back should be getting talk. Tom Brady should be getting talk. Aaron Rodgers should be getting talk. Zero.
Why?
Well, what does that mean, though? Can I ask you what that means? What does that mean, the sole product of that offense? Because can't you say that for Jonathan Taylor? They don't trust Carson Wentz, so he's a product of that offense. Like, what does that even mean?
When I say this about Cooper Kupp, the designs are purposely ran on offense for Cooper Kupp to get open.
Why is that a bad thing?
Jonathan, I'm trying to answer this question. I'll get to you next, sir. Jonathan Taylor is a running back. So therefore, that's part of the way football is played. Now, do I believe Jonathan Taylor could do that on another team? 100%, absolutely. Do I believe that Cooper Kupp could do that on another team? No, I do not. And I think for me, that's the difference between the two. And that's why I think that Taylor should be getting far more recognition than Cooper Kupp should, because every time I watch them, they're designed for their pass plays are for him to get open. It's not like, all right, boom, whoever runs the best route gets the ball. That's not how their offense goes. It's ran for this dude to get picked off here, screened off here, slotted this way so that he could get open. And I get it. I get it. But that ain't no MVP talk for me. I would rather give it to Stafford.
That is like the most counterintuitive thing I've ever heard. I mean,
How
really.
so?
Because when you say that they run routes to get him open, first of all, he's great after catching the ball. He gets yards after the catch, number one. But number two, when you have a number one wide receiver, that's what you do for him. And so what the 49ers didn't do that for Jerry Rice. The Cowboys didn't do that for Michael Irvin. Other NFL teams don't do that for their number one wide receiver.
Sir, don't ever mention his name in those same sense. Don't do that.
Why? Because he's white?
Do that.
Because just simply because he's white? Because remember this. You said, and everybody else told me the same thing. When Odell Beckham joins this team, Odell Beckham is a far more athletic wide receiver than Cooper Kupp. Yeah? Okay. I don't know if he is or he isn't, but I know Cooper Kupp is far and away the number one wide receiver on that team. He's got an amazing connection with a quarterback who he's only played with this first season. He's putting up incredible record-breaking statistics, and you seem to want to hold that against him. I'm not saying he's going to win the MVP, and I think you're right that the running back from Indianapolis deserves a lot of credit. But look at what Cooper Kupp has done this year. He is the number one wide receiver in the NFL. Number one in receptions with 122. Number one in yards with over 1,600 yards. Number one in touchdowns. Yesterday in this game, 9 catches, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. The guy is having an absolutely gigantic monster season. Why do we want to hold this against him?
I think two things. One, to go with Scott's point, Browner, I understand what you're saying, but to me, that's kind of the point of an offensive coordinator is to get your best player open. So that's a good thing. Secondly, he leads the league in yards after catch by a lot, by over 120 yards. So he not only is he open, he's catching the ball and running with the ball. And that's just a fact. I mean, you can't
He also
deny
leads in
that.
targets.
So
And what's the problem with that? It means he's open.
That means he gets more opportunities.
Sure,
So-
but that doesn't mean Jonathan
you gonna
Taylor.
tell me he better DeAndre Hopkins?
Hold on. Jonathan Taylor leads the league in rushing attempts.
Yes.
He's getting more opportunities. Like that's the same thing. Like so, all I'm saying, I'm not gonna disagree. If you don't think a wide receiver like Cooper Kupp deserves MVP consideration, great. That's your. For me, I think there's other positions in the league besides quarterback that wins you games, and Cooper Kupp is winning the Rams games, not Matthew Stafford. That's the way I look at it. Same thing with Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is winning the Colts way more games than Carson Wentz is. And with the Bucks and the Packers, Brady and Rodgers are why they're winning games too. But I think it's a greater discussion is like, can we stop focusing on the quarterbacks? Because there are other guys that contribute huge to teams winning. Cooper Kupp, to me, is the number one reason that the offense is even rolling. Without Cooper Kupp, they're lost, man, because Stafford ain't it, dude. You watched that game yesterday. Stafford is holding them back yesterday, not elevating them. That's the way I see it.
I just don't understand, like, why, if you think that Cooper Kupp is not the very best wide receiver in the NFL, fine, you can argue that there are other guys that are better than he is. That's fine. But is anybody having a better season than he's having?
I mean, you just put the numbers up.
Right. So why is it that instead of like downing on the dude, why can't you just say, look, this year he is having the best season of any wide receiver in the NFL. And because he's having such a monster year on a team that is in playoff contention and maybe even will win their division and maybe even host a playoff game, why instead of saying he's not this or he's not that or they've designed it this way to get him this, instead of saying he's succeeding, he's putting up the numbers, he's contributing to team wins. Why are we holding that against him in some way?
I'm not holding that against him at all.
It sounds like it.
You're asking. I'm answering the question that was asked that was presented for the topic of discussion.
So why are we not hearing his name mentioned in the MVP conversation? That was the question. Why not?
Because
he's a wide receiver.
Because he's white and he's a wide receiver.
I think that he is a product of that offense, and because
who's not a product of the offense? Is DeAndre Hopkins
Devontae
not
Adams?
He's not a product
DeAndre
of
Hopkins?
Wait. Hold on.
You got
Wait a
it.
second. Hold on.
If you don't think
Adams is not a product of the offense that he plays in. Would Adams be as good as he was if Jordan Love was the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers?
Yes.
Oh,
watch the one game with Jordan Love. I mean, it's just
come
inaccurate.
on, dude. He'd be that good. It's not Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers doesn't contribute a lot to his success.
I'm saying this. You've seen DeAndre Hopkins be on 2 different teams and give you excellent numbers.
Right. Did he have a good quarterback in Houston?
No.
It depends.
He didn't?
It depends on who you ask.
Who's his quarterback in Houston? He had like 10 of them. Matt Schaub?
No. Keep going.
No. See, Deshaun Watson was not his only quarterback. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you
Well,
doing?
DeAndre Hopkins did it with 8 to 10 quarterbacks.
But
DeAndre
he didn't.
Hopkins
But he didn't have a good quarterback at the end before he left.
To me, DeAndre Hopkins is a different animal. That dude can do it with whoever.
Okay, hold on. Just listen. Hold that thought for a second. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. We got into a little bit of the Lakers, a little bit of the Rams. We're coming to the Aztecs. Stick around, everybody. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
And they're on. Welcome back. Please join us in welcoming the Race and Sports Radio Show back home to 1090. Join host Felix Taverna every Saturday at 9 a.m. for the very best horse racing coverage in all of Southern California. The all-new and mightier 1090. Right now at BMW San Diego. Get 0.9% APR financing up to 36 months on all in-stock 2018 and 2019 certified pre-owned BMW models. BMW San Diego, Kearney Mesa Road and the 163 and BMWSanDiego.com.
Watch your San Diego State Aztecs take on the San Diego Christian Hawks. December 28th at 6 p.m. live from the Viejas Arena.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Great googly movie.
oh, yeah. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Right now at BMW San Diego. Get 0.9% APR financing up to 36 months on all in-stock 2018 and 2019 certified pre-owned BMW models. BMW San Diego, Kearney Mesa Road and the 163 and BMWSanDiego.com.
Time now for Kaplan and Crew Tonight's Community Connect. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon. And by Prospect Home Finance.
Last month, the Orange County Soccer Club hosted its second Corporate Cup, pitting local businesses against one another in a competitive round-robin soccer tournament, with the finalists playing at Championship Stadium after the Orange County SC home game on Wednesday, October 20th.
Really a great opportunity to get our whole company and our families out here together, spending time for a good cause and really enjoying it.
Co-ed teams from a variety of industries showed up at the Great Park Fields in Irvine to participate in the charity tournament, with the proceeds going to the OCSC Community Foundation to help further its mission to use soccer as a vehicle to promote health and wellness, support and empower youth, foster an inclusive environment, and unify the local community.
We feel great about giving back to our community. Experian is a company that tries to give back in many ways, and just being able to support this cause is awesome. Anything that we can do to kind of support Orange County, we're all about it.
It was a fun day out on the field with 16 teams battling it out for bragging rights to see who moved on to the finals.
They've been taking it pretty seriously so far. A lot of them have been practicing in the weeks leading up. They've got their own custom jerseys, and you can tell they're having a great time just getting out of the office on a Friday on a beautiful day here at the Orange County Great Park.
The team members were extremely excited and passionate. We got more than expected entries, and we had to tell people then just show up and cheer the team.
Participating companies were also treated to meet and greets and private coaching sessions with OCSC players and coaches.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight's Community Connect is fueled by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Southern California Radio is a special game, a unique game from the sandy beaches of the Baja and all the way to Santa Barbara. My voice sounds pretty cool. The all-new and mightier 1090.
Food insecurity is defined as not having sufficient resources to buy food either for yourself or for your family. Folks who are food insecure struggle with not having enough food to eat because maybe they lost their jobs. It is important to not just look at one person as being food insecure, but really looking at them as it could be anyone. The San Diego Food Bank has been around for over 40 years. Our job is to help procure food for San Diego County residents to make sure that no one is going to bed hungry. Accessing food from the San Diego Food Bank is very simple. A lot of our distributions right now are operating as drive-through distributions, so they are safe to attend if you are concerned with getting out of your vehicle and walking into a food pantry. The San Diego Food Bank needs your continued support. Please visit our website at sandiegofoodbank.org, and there you will see all of the different ways that you too can get involved.
There's a difference between just getting there and enjoying the journey. At Team Mazda of El Cajon, we put you in the driver's seat of the best cars around. From our stylish crossover SUVs to our classic sedans and sports cars. At Team Mazda of El Cajon, your good credit and trade-in can turn into the Mazda of your dreams. Start enjoying your drive with a new Mazda today. Visit Team Mazda of El Cajon.
Here's Kaplan and Crew Tonight's 60-second timeout. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
San Diego State football won the Frisco Bowl on Tuesday night. The Aztecs took down UTSA 38-24 to earn their 12th win of the season, the first time in program history that SDSU has 12 wins in a season. Quarterback Lucas Johnson had a career-best 333 passing yards and 3 touchdowns while also rushing for a touchdown. Kicker-punter Matt Araiza had a 33-yard field goal and finished the season with an NCAA record 51.19 yards per punt. Araiza beat the record set by Texas A&M punter Braden Mann in 2018. SDSU trailed in the first quarter before taking the lead heading into the half. Then in the third quarter, they continued to hold off UTSA to get the bowl win. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew Tonight.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance. Brought to you by Prospect Home Finance. Fast, friendly, affordable. Watch your San Diego State Aztecs take on the San Diego Christian Hawks. December 28th at 6 p.m. live from the Viejas Arena.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
All right, great friends. It is a Wednesday afternoon here on Kaplan and Crew. And on a Tuesday afternoon where you had NFL football, college football, NBA basketball, all things that the three of us were interested in yesterday in the middle of the day on Tuesday, we are in the middle of a debate today about some of the stuff we saw yesterday. And we welcome you back inside the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man. So I asked this question earlier, and it turned into a whole debate here. So here goes. Why is it that Cooper Kupp, who is the leading wide receiver on the Rams, a team that has a brand new quarterback this year, accomplished to be sure, but never really a winner in his career, why is it that Cooper Kupp, who's leading the NFL in receptions, leading the NFL in receiving yards, leading the NFL in touchdown receptions, leading the NFL in yards after the catch, why isn't there any talk at all about Cooper Kupp potentially for MVP? I got it. It's mostly a quarterback-driven award. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, maybe you might even throw in Matt Stafford, the quarterback of the Rams. I personally wouldn't, but people talk about the running back in Indianapolis, Jonathan Taylor. I'm just asking the question, why is Cooper Kupp not involved in the conversation? And Browner, your answer is that it's because he's a product of the offensive system. Is that right?
Yes, 100%. I believe that he couldn't generate these exact same numbers on a different team, even if he had a better quarterback. I don't think I don't think that he's that dude.
But can I ask you a question to retort that?
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're saying, but that's not part of the MVP conversation ever. Like that's
Well, yeah, no, of
we're
course not.
talking about. So why exactly? So your answer doesn't really answer the question.
Okay, you're right. Let me answer that a little more direct. I think the national perception of him, because that's how this award is voted on. I think the national perception of him is that he is a product of that offense. And so you've seen other guys excel, and you don't see them as products of that offense. You see them the reason why the offense is productive and not vice versa. People may see him, I see him as only being productive because of the offense. Let's say, because like Taylor, for instance, the offense is productive because of Taylor. The offense is productive because of Tom Brady. The offense is productive because of Aaron Rodgers.
You don't think the offense is productive because of Cooper Kupp?
No, because I think if you put, for instance, Odell Beckham Jr. in that exact same slot with those exact same routes, I think you would get the exact same result.
I think one of the best arguments for Cooper Kupp getting MVP consideration is the fact that in years previous, when Robert Woods was healthy, he was still good, but he never put up these types of numbers. So when Robert Woods goes out, he stepped up. And to me, that's a huge thing for Cooper Kupp. It wasn't like they just slotted somebody in and Robert Woods, and then they replaced Robert Woods, and it's still the same. It's like, no, they actually didn't find a replacement for Robert Woods. Cooper Kupp has just stepped up even more. So you can argue it however you want and agree with Browner, but all I'm saying is when they needed Cooper Kupp to step up because one of their best receivers got hurt, he did. And now he's putting up all-time numbers. I mean, we're 14, 15 weeks through the season, and he's already 19th on the all-time reception list for a season, or yards list for a season. That's a massive, massive year. Any way you look at it, that's huge.
Let me ask this question.
Most yards ever in a single season.
Let me ask this. If Davante Adams was having the same statistical season that Cooper Kupp is having, would he deserve some consideration for MVP?
In my opinion?
Yeah.
Is Aaron Rodgers still a quarterback?
Yeah.
No.
I would say he would get less consideration than Cooper Kupp is.
Because
he has Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Yes.
So when you say that Cooper Kupp is a product of the system, I would say to you that Davante Adams is very fortunate to have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. If Keenan Allen were having the exact same statistical season that Cooper Kupp is having, would Keenan Allen deserve any consideration?
I think he would get more consideration, yes.
Why? I mean, you think Herbolt's great, don't you?
Yeah, I do. A lot of people do, but Herbolt's a second-year quarterback.
Okay,
And so a lot
Stafford's
of
a
people,
first-year quarterback with the Rams. Look at the combination that these guys have created
but Matthew
in
Stafford's
one
been
season.
in the league putting up numbers forever.
I understand, but these guys haven't played together. I mean, Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers have played together for years, right?
Yes.
And Herbolt has played with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams for 2 seasons.
Right.
I'm giving an example. I mean, look, all I'm saying is this, is that I think the bias is that he's a white guy wide receiver, and people look at this and they go, yeah, I'm not really buying it. Kind of the way you are, Browner. You're like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I think that this is just one spectacular season that he's having. That's what MVP is. You might have an MVP season one year and be trash the next year. You might win Super Bowl MVP, go get a ton of money from another team, and never be heard of. It's about the now. I think Cooper Kupp is having a shockingly incredible statistical season. And by the way, you said this before we hit the break. If you put Odell Beckham in the exact same role and you said, Odell's our number one, Odell plays from this position, Odell runs these routes, and everybody else supports all of that, Odell Beckham will have the exact same numbers. That's a nice theory, but it certainly hasn't been proven. And one of the things I find really interesting is with Robert Woods going out, wouldn't you think that Odell Beckham would fill that number 2 role if the Rams offense really thinks that Cooper Kupp is still the number 1? Did you guys see Odell Beckham in the game yesterday?
Odell Beckham's a different receiver than Robert Woods. What they're asking Odell to do is different.
That may be the case. But I'm just asking you, did you see Odell contribute yesterday?
Not really, no.
I mean, they went out and got him. Let me ask you a question. Could Deshaun Jackson have stayed with the Rams and have done last night what Odell Beckham did last night?
But it didn't cost the Rams any trade picks or anything, so I don't really care about that.
But they paid him. They paid him.
They paid him,
money.
but what does that matter?
It doesn't matter. All I'm saying is this.
Let me say
is that real quick? Just let me finish by saying this. When Odell Beckham came to the Rams, everybody said, "Oh my God, you just got one of the really great players in the league." And you know what? He's been okay. He's scored 3 touchdowns. They've set him up to score a few touchdowns. They've tried to force the ball to him a few times.
Product of the offense.
Well, he is. He's a product of, we don't really need him that much because our number 1 guy is having a historic season. Do you guys know who was second yesterday in receptions for the Rams? Not Odell Beckham. A guy by the name of Ben Skowronek. I've seen him make a couple of plays this year, but I mean, he's a 7th round draft choice in this year's draft out of Notre Dame. So where's Odell Beckham? Is he not getting open? There was a play yesterday. Stafford threw him a ball. He tried to one-hand it because that's what Odell does. Ball popped out of his hand up into the air and was almost picked off by a defensive lineman who was trailing him. Odell Beckham is, put it this way, could the Rams be doing what they're doing without Odell Beckham right now? That's my question for you, Browner.
You asked a question about Deshaun Jackson. That's the question I want to address. Deshaun Jackson left that team because of the same reason why we're discussing Odell Beckham Jr. Deshaun Jackson knew he was better than what he was being represented on the Rams' offensive scheme. It did not fit him, and so he asked out. And they obliged and let him out, and he went and did his thing for the Raiders. So to me, the question that you're asking is very fitting. We've seen an example of someone who runs the same similar style of Odell not be able to get catches and not be able to get looks in the system and want it out of it. This is the same thing. Robert Woods got hurt. Deshaun Jackson left because the offense was geared in this particular direction, and he didn't think that fit what he wanted to do.
Okay. So Odell joins, and with so much talent,
who cannot walk away because he looked like a bad person.
Well, but with so much talent, where's the contribution? Is he not getting open? Is Matthew Stafford choosing to not look his direction? Is everything all about Cooper Kupp?
Yes.
Listen, well, guess what? When you're the number 1 wide receiver and you're as good as Cooper Kupp is, why would you not make him the number 1, and why would you not target him? Why do the Green Bay Packers not target Devontae Adams? Do the Arizona Cardinals not target Hopkins? When you have a number 1 wide receiver, do you not target that guy? I don't understand why this is all being held against Cooper Kupp when he's having this sort of historic year.
I don't think it is being held
Right.
against Cooper
Well, by
Kupp, by the way.
Browner
I
it
don't
is. That's
know.
all I'm saying.
No,
Sure.
what?
Yeah, but as
Yeah.
far as like the national, yeah, I mean, you basically said he's not good. He's just because Sean
No.
McVay gets him open.
I don't I watched them play maybe 5 full games, like from beginning to end, from kickoff to all zeros on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And in my observation,
Mm-hmm.
they're way better receivers better than him. He's offensive driven. He's a product of that offense. And your question as to why he's not getting more MVP votes, that answers your question because more people feel like me than they feel like you.
Yeah.
I think that you guys are just missing the whole point.
Oh.
He plays wide receiver. People don't get MVP consideration if
Well,
you play
that's
wide receiver.
that's really the bigger story.
I mean,
here.
he's the 8th on. Let's be real. He's the 8th. He has the 8th highest odds right now in the league. So he's not getting disrespected. He's the 8th highest player. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Jonathan Taylor, Matt Stafford, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Herbert, and him. So
All
we can
quarterbacks.
argue, except Jonathan Taylor. We
Right.
can argue all about Cooper Kupp and the offense and that. Point is, he's having a historical season, and I don't think you can really disrespect the numbers or anything that he's doing. If you
Who's
just
the
watch the Rams
Who's the number one wide receiver in the NFL right now?
right
DeAndre
now,
Hopkins.
it's Cooper Kupp. DeAndre Hopkins out for the year.
You add no. I thought he was asking who I see the best wide
Yeah.
receiver is.
Who is
not
who,
statistically.
No, I'm asking who right now. Who is the number one wide receiver in the NFL right now?
Oh,
On
we're getting
Wednesday.
very first stakey.
No, I've given my answer already.
DeAndre Hopkins?
Yes.
If healthy, I would take DeAndre Hopkins over anybody.
Yeah, but he's not healthy. We all talk about week to week.
Devontae Adams.
So Devontae Adams is right now having a better season.
That's not what you asked me.
I said, who's the number one wide receiver? Not who's the most
No, you
talented
asked who's
guy.
the best.
Yeah, you asked who the best.
Well,
Who's having a better statistical season? It's Cooper Kupp. But if you're going to tell me who I would rather have, Cooper Kupp or Devontae Adams, I'm taking Devontae Adams.
okay. Well, listen, maybe that's to Browner's point that people maybe look at things like that. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Cooper Kupp or Keenan Allen?
Me?
Yeah.
Keenan Allen.
I don't like Keenan Allen.
How about Mike Williams? Mike Williams or Cooper Kupp?
Mike Williams only good because it's a contract
Cooper
year.
Kupp
He's trying
than
to
Mike
get
Williams.
paid. Mike Williams trying to get paid. That's the only reason.
Yeah, I would rather have Cooper
Yeah,
Kupp than Mike
he
Williams.
stunk it up for his first 4 years. Now he wants to get paid, so he's doing well.
Odell Beckham or Cooper Kupp? Who'd you rather have?
I know the answer to that question for me.
Cooper Kupp. OBJ's washed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I got to say, Cooper Kupp is I think he is surprising a lot of people. The kind of stats he's putting up are historic. When I said Jerry Rice and Michael Irvin, and you say don't put his name in the name with those, why not? Statistically, he's having one of the most spectacular statistical seasons in the history of the NFL.
To me, that's like saying Robert Ory got 7 championships. Come on, man, stop it.
Well, it's like saying that Matthew Stafford statistically compares to Dan Marino.
Who would do like? But when push comes to shove, who's the better quarterback?
I would say
Dan Marino.
I would think so. But
Why though?
Yeah, but well, it is a good question. Why? Because I mean, the Marino teams only went to one Super Bowl.
I'm saying why though? Like it's Troy Aikman's in the Hall of Fame. Why? Look at his numbers. He stunk.
Yeah.
It's all about perception. It's all about perception. I mean, that's at the end of the day. It's all about Browner perceives Cooper Kupp as a product of the system. Scott perceives Cooper Kupp as being a very good wide receiver. It's all about perception. There's none of anything that we're talking about. None of it's in reality because the reality in our own heads is different.
Dan Marino's passing yards came in a time where it was far more difficult to pass than it is now when Matt Stafford's playing quarterback. That's why I would say Dan Marino.
But Matt Stafford's throwing for 5,000 yards as opposed to Marino's 3,000 yards. So what I'm saying is Matt Stafford is throwing crazy numbers in a league where you're supposed to throw crazy numbers. So to say Dan Marino's a much better quarterback, I don't know.
All I can tell you is this:
Stafford's tough as hell. He could have lasted in the 90s or 80s.
I'll get you a Stafford jersey. How about
this notion that Kupp is a product of the offense? It doesn't make sense to me at all. I mean, if you told me at the University of Florida, Tim Tebow won a Heisman Trophy because he was a product of the offense, or here, I'll give you a more contemporary example. You say you don't like Joe Burrow. You don't think Joe Burrow is very good. Why? Because at LSU, he played with all these guys that have become NFL superstars. So he was on a team that had all these great players. Therefore, he's not really that good because he had so much talent around him. He's therefore a product of who was around him. I just think you're taking away from guys, their hard work, their dedication, their perseverance, and their success. I think Cooper Kupp is having, well, he is far and away the number one wide receiver, statistically speaking, in the NFL. Is Devontae Adams more gifted physically? Perhaps. Is Odell Beckham more gifted physically? I don't think so, but people do think that. So forget about the physical talents for a second. Let's just talk about production right now. Production now says that Cooper Kupp should receive consideration for MVP. And Alex, as you pointed out, when you look at the top 8 guys getting, at least his name is in there. Throw some respect on his name, Browner.
Not going to happen.
You know the closest wide receiver is?
Who?
Devontae Adams, and he's like 30th on the list. 20th.
You won't give this guy any respect, huh?
No, it's not. He's having a great season. My respect goes to the person. He's got the numbers, so you can't deny the statistical numbers that he's putting up. I'm not denying that, but I don't operate specifically driven on specific or statistics when I'm watching the games. I'm watching the games, and I'm not convinced.
Really?
Let me tell you guys this. This is how dumb the NFL MVP is, okay? Carson Wentz has...
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Twice... No, wait, listen. For real. Carson Wentz has twice the better odds of winning the MVP than Devontae Adams. Carson Wentz is plus 20,000. Devontae Adams plus 50,000. Now, if you're going to tell me who's better for their team, please.
I don't know what Cooper Kupp can do for you, man. I mean, catches more touchdown passes, puts up more yards after the catch, impacts the game tremendously. I just don't know I don't know why, instead of just giving the dude his respect, you're like, nah, I'm not really seeing it.
Do it on
You know what I
team.
like, Scott, that I'm figuring out about you? You defend the white receiver very
always,
much.
Always.
This is the most passionate I've ever seen you defend something against Browner.
Well, and Browner does the exact opposite of what I do. He downs on the white guy wide receiver.
No, listen, who Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz my guy.
No.
Well,
white guy wide receiver. White guy wide receiver.
It's only one of them. The other one I don't like because he's Cole Beasley. I'm good. I'll pass. I'm good on him. You can have him.
All right, let me have a minute here, and then we're going to get into San Diego State football because, again,
that was a lot of Cooper Kupp talk.
Yeah, it was a lot of Cooper Kupp talk. But, Browner looks at Cooper Kupp the same way he looks at Shohei Ohtani. He just doesn't buy it,
They should be on a Wheaties box together. Nobody will buy that cereal.
I would.
You buy a shipment of it.
I would.
$18 million.
That's right. Now that I'm worth $18 million. Hey, I want to say to everybody, happy holidays on behalf of Corky's Pest Control. And what a great year we have had with Corky. We go back to 2002, 2003 with Corky. He is our longest standing advertising partner on the show. And I just want to say that I love the way the Great Friends Network, it really does work this way. Bob Roush owns a hotel in Carmel Valley. He has a termite situation at his hotel. He needs to get the entire facility termite fumigated. He's got to tent the whole thing. Who does he call? He calls Corky. Why? Because Bob listens to the show. Bob knows that Corky is a longtime supporter of the show, and the Great Friends Network works this way. Bob's a great friend. Corky's a great friend. Bob needs to have his hotel fumigated. Corky is the best at termite fumigation. Bob calls Corky. Corky tents Bob's hotel. Bob's hotel no longer has a termite problem, and it's a win-win-win for all of us. So thank you to the other BR, Bob Roush, and thank you to Corky Miser from Corky's Pest Control. If you have a termite problem or you have any other kind of pest problem and you are a great friend, you call Cork. Call 1-800-901-1102.
Corky. Even if you was a wide receiver.
Okay. Hey, moving on here for a second. Moving on. I went from watching the Rams game to watching the San Diego State Aztec football game.
Don't lie.
Yeah.
Did you see a difference in play?
Don't lie. How much time did you put into my Aztecs last night? Because I know I slammed the Frisco Bowl.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to tell you that I was all about it. But come on, how much time did you put?
No,
in there?
a lot. I mean, I was going back and forth between the Rams game and the Aztec game. You got to understand. I love this San Diego State team maybe more than any other San Diego State football team ever, and I'll tell you why. You look at Lucas, not the punter. But he's a part of it. You look at Lucas Johnson, San Diego kid. You look at the receiver, Matthews, San Diego kid. the other receiver. And by the way, I can't stand the fact that one receiver wears number 45 and the other one wears like
I know
96.
it bothers
It's
me.
just
It makes Jesse Matthews look like an awful receiver.
it makes him look like he's not a wide receiver. It makes him look like he's
Right.
some kind of
A
a
fullback.
hybrid
Skinny.
halfback. Right, exactly.
A skinny fullback.
But I'm telling you right now, the reason I love this Aztec football team this year more than any other Aztec football team that I can remember is because the vast majority of the kids who are major contributors, quarterback, wide receiver, kicker, punter, linebacker, et cetera, these are San Diego kids. Forever, we all said if San Diego State could keep the best players home, there's enough high school talent in San Diego that they could be good. Well, this is the result. What you're looking at is the result. The kids that were the major contributors to last night's win and to the San Diego State football team winning a school record 12 games in one season, the vast majority of the kids who are making the plays are kids that played high school football in San Diego. And I think it's so cool. I mean, my son and I were watching the game last night. He's like, I played with that guy in an all-star game. I played with that guy right there. That guy went to Lincoln. That guy went to Carmel Mountain. That guy went to this school. That guy went to Rancho Bernardo. I'm telling you, this roster is filled with kids who are hometown guys. Let's go deeper into what happened yesterday. San Diego State gets a monster win for their program. We'll talk about that. Coming right back. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Our massive signal covers an area where over 24 million people reside. So, if you're listening or advertising on another station, we have only one question. Why? The new generation of radio. The all-new and mightier 1090. Right now at BMW San Diego, get 0.9% APR financing up to 36 months on all in-stock 2018 and 2019 certified pre-owned BMW models. BMW San Diego, Kearney Mesa Road and the 163 and BMWSanDiego.com.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on Your View or stream it online at yourview.com. Sponsored by The Barnes Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit thebarnesfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives. Watch your San Diego State Aztecs take on the San Diego Christian Hawks. December 28th at 6 p.m. live from the Viejas Arena.
Right now at BMW San Diego, get 0.9% APR financing up to 36 months on all in-stock 2018 and 2019 certified pre-owned BMW models. BMW San Diego, Kearney Mesa Road and the 163 and BMWSanDiego.com.
Here's Kaplan and Crew Tonight's 60-second timeout. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
San Diego State football won the Frisco Bowl on Tuesday night. The Aztecs took down UTSA 38-24 to earn their 12th win of the season, the first time in program history that SDSU has 12 wins in a season. Quarterback Lucas Johnson had a career-best 333 passing yards and 3 touchdowns while also rushing for a touchdown. Kicker punter Matt Araiza had a 33-yard field goal and finished the season with an NCAA record 51.19 yards per punt. Araiza beat the record set by Texas A&M punter Braden Mann in 2018. SDSU trailed in the first quarter before taking the lead heading into the half. Then in the third quarter, they continued to hold off UTSA to get the bowl win. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew Tonight.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Team Mazda of El Cajon. and by Prospect Home Finance.
Catch an all-new local show on the Mightier 1090. Please join us every Thursday at 6 p.m. for the Charity Stripe, where you can get 3 out-of-the-box sports minds whose game is knowing yours. Only on a new generation of radio, the Mightier 1090 AM, SoCal Sports Talk.
Welcome to Team Mazda of El Cajon. Thank you for joining us to make the trip to San Diego's first Mazda Retail Evolution facility. It takes years and years to put all this together and to make Team Mazda a reality. Unbelievable thing here.
Thank you to John and Corinne for the opportunity. It's a privilege and an honor to say that this is the store I get to be the general manager of.
I do want to speak to what I have in my hand here. It is a big, heavy plaque representing the grand opening. So I want to present this to John, say thank you again.
We're very proud of the work that you're doing here. I commend you on your future prosperity. At this point, I want to invite you all outside to hear a drum demonstration.
Let's take it up a notch with Kaplan and Crew Tonight's Premium Boost, powered by the Mightier 1090 and by Prospect Home Finance.
Today, we proudly held the ribbon cutting ceremony for our new office in La Jolla, California. Here we are in the Merrill Lynch building, right in the middle of the village, and really happy to be part of this neighborhood. This is really special to Prospect in that it almost signifies the fact that we've grown up officially. We have survived the past 15 years by being very agile. We come to this one amazing location from 3 separate offices. So it's fantastic having everyone under one roof. This is going to do wonders in terms of streamlining our operations, being able to communicate with someone down the hall as opposed to someone who's several blocks away is going to be terrific. Our CEO, Jason Vondrack, he's a very humble person, but I know this day really means a lot to him in that he has led this company for 15 years. And he started this business out of a studio apartment. And look where we are now. That's huge. I think this new space signifies just endless possibilities for Prospects. I mean, we're headquartered in La Jolla, but we do business all around the country. So our goal is to be licensed to offer home financing in all 50 states, and we're well on our way.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight's Premium Boost is powered by the Mightier 1090 and by Prospect Home Finance. You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the Mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Wilsey Asset Management is an investment advisory firm registered with the SEC. We're a firm that's a fiduciary firm, and we manage $500 million in assets for clients and businesses nationwide. We do better when our clients do better. You want to have a win-win situation. And I saw the same thing with charities. Some of the charities that we're involved in would include Crews for Kids. Another organization that we really helped a lot was Children's Hospital. And there's also other organizations that we help as well in addition to those.
Kind of growing up and seeing how involved my dad was in the community, it really rubbed me, I'm going to say, in the right way. I did kind of take that one step further, I would say, and actually did start my own charity. It's called the Fighters Fight Foundation. What we do is we actually provide experiences to women that are battling stage 3 or stage 4 breast cancer. Our charity is not just about providing the experiences for women, it's also too on educating people. If you want to get involved in the foundation, you can go to our website, fightersfightfoundation.com.
If you love animals, Animal Zone is for you. From rescues to animal experts, Animal Zone is fun for the whole family. Watch Animal Zone right here on your view, Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. and visit animalzone.org to learn more about the show.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 a.m. A new generation of radio, SoCal Sports Talk.